and welcome everyone to lecture 9 on the chapter light. In this lecture we will talk about the laws of refraction of light. We have already understood how refraction works when a beam of light passes from one medium to another medium. So now we will see how the laws of refraction work. So the first law states that the incident ray, the normal ray and the refracted ray, they all lie in the same plane. So basically if this is the plane which we discussed that it is the interface between the two boundaries, and this is the incident ray which lies on this plane, the normal also lies on the same plane, and if we are moving from a rarer to a denser medium, we know that the ray has to bend towards the normal. So this particular ray which is passing in the second medium, which is known as the refracted ray, also lies in the same plane. So the incident ray, refracted ray and the normal, they all lie in the same plane. This is the first law. Second law states that the ratio of sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction is a constant for a given pair of media. So before we talk about this law, let's understand what do we know about the term sine. So sine is a trigonometric ratio, and for our purposes in class 10 physics, we need the value of sine for 5 angles. So those standard 5 angles you have to learn as of now. So sine 0 degree, sine 30 degree, sine 45, sine 60 and sine 90. So as of now you have to simply remember the values of these trigonometric ratios, sine ratio for these particular angles, and you do this chapter in detail in mathematics in class 10th itself. So sine 0 we can obtain by this fraction under root of 0 by 4, which will be 0. Then sine 30 is 1 by 4, which comes out to be 1 by 2. Then sine 45 is 2 by 4, which after solving will be 1 upon root 2. Sine 60 is 3 by 4, which comes out to be root 3 by 2. And sine 90, which is under root of 4 by 4, which comes out to be 1. So if you see, these are the 5 standard angles which you have to remember. And how can you memorize it? Under root of 0 by 4, 1 by 4, 2 by 4, 3 by 4 and 4 by 4. So the numerator is in ascending order, consecutive numbers ascending order, and you can obtain these values. So these 5 values you have to learn. So these are the sine values. Now we know that angle of incidence is the angle between the incident ray and the normal, and angle of refraction is the angle between the refracted ray and the normal. Okay. So let us see how we can use this. How does this law help us? So the second law states that the mathematical interpretation of the second law will be sine of angle of incidence and sine of angle of refraction. We have taken the ratio of these two, and this is a constant for a given pair of media. So if I take a pair of, let us say, air and water. If I have air and water, so what do we understand by this term is, let us suppose here I have air, here I have water, and we know that we are moving from a rarer medium to a denser medium. So what happens is, this incident ray, once it passes through the boundary and moves inside the second medium, it will bend towards the normal, because water being denser, optically denser. So this is angle of refraction. Okay. So what do we say here is that, let us say if angle I is 45 and angle R is, let's not take it air and water, this is some general rarer medium and this is some dense medium, and angle R has to be smaller. So let us say angle R is 30. So how can you use this relation is, I said this is a constant and the symbol to be used here is n. So n is that constant. So here what do we get? Sine 45 sine 30 sin I upon sin R. If you use the values which we have just obtained previous to this particular thing, so sin 45 was 1 upon root 2 and sin 30 is 1 upon 2. So once you solve it, what do you get? This is 1 upon root 2 into 2, or ultimately you get root 2. Okay. So sin 45 by sin 30 is root 2, that is what we are getting, and the value of root 2 generally I think you all know is 1.414. So we see here that for this particular medium, for when the light is moving from rare to dense medium, this constant n comes out to be 1.414. Now what will happen if I change this angle of incidence from 45 degree to some other angle? Automatically the angle of refraction will also change, but the ratio of sin I by sin R will remain constant. So that is what the statement says, that the ratio of sin I upon sin R basically remains constant for a given pair of media. If you change I, R will also change automatically so as to maintain the constant ratio. Okay, and that ratio, the symbol of the ratio is n here. So using this relation, using this premise, let us talk about a new term, and that is refractive index. So what is refractive index? Let us discuss about that. We have to do two types of refractive indices, that is absolute refractive index and relative refractive index. Let's first understand what refractive index is. So we said that sin I upon sin R is a constant. So that constant is known as the refractive index. So sin I upon sin R is a constant and the symbol of the constant is n. So ये जो symbol है, we say that this symbol is known as the refractive index. Okay, and as I said, this is constant for a given pair of media. So we'll make this symbol a bit more specific. So again, let us say we have water and we have oil. Now we are talking about water and oil. So this is the incident ray, angle of incidence, and the ray bends towards the normal. So this is angle of refraction. This should have been the original path. So I have made an arrow here, and this is the normal. Okay, so here we can see that the ray is incident in water. So usually the medium in which the ray is incident is known as medium 1 for convenience. We will say this is medium 1 where there is incident ray, and the medium in which the light enters crossing the interface will be known as medium 2. So you can see that in medium 2 refraction is taking place. The refraction or the refracted ray or the angle of refraction, all of these things, they are lying in the second medium in which the light enters after crossing the interface. So basically the medium in which refraction is taking place, we take out the refractive index of that medium only. So here oil is the medium in which refraction is taking place. So in short, we are finding the refractive index of oil. So I put O, the symbol for oil medium, as a subscript in front of n, which means that I am finding out the refractive index of oil. But we say that it is for specific pairs. So we have to discuss, we have to consider the first medium also. So from where the incident beam is coming, which is water, also known as medium 1, that will be presented here at the top. So this symbol basically means that we are finding out the refractive index of oil, the one in which refraction is taking place, with respect to water, the one from which light is coming, the medium in which there is the incident ray. So ultimately you have to understand we are finding out the refractive index of oil. Okay, and this basically is sin I upon sin R, as the second law suggested. The second law is also known as the Snell's law. It is also known as the Snell's law. So this constant is sin I by sin R. Now, if I have a situation in which the incident ray is in oil and after crossing the interface it is moving inside water. So, in that situation what will happen is, I will just draw the diagram here, and let us keep oil below only. So, once again this is oil, symbol O, and this is water, symbol W. So, what I am saying now is that the incident ray is moving from oil. So, it is not necessary that the first medium will always be at the top. First medium means the one in which there is incident ray, second medium where there is refracted ray. So, the oil ray is coming from oil, this is the normal. Now, this behaves like the incident ray, and water being optically rarer. So, we know that if this is the original route of the ray, technically the ray should move away from the normal. So, this becomes the refracted ray, refracted angle, and this is medium 1 now because it has incident ray, and this one is medium 2 now. And now you can see that as refraction is taking place in water, so ultimately we will be finding out the refractive index of water now. So, the symbol here, so sin I upon sin R basically becomes this constant according to Snell's law, and now this constant is basically representing the refractive index of water. So, I will put W here, and the first medium was oil, so I will put oil here at the top, and this is basically the refractive index of water with respect to oil. So, now we are finding out the refractive index of water. You can see the symbol, in the symbol W and O, they have interchanged their places. So, two things which we have talked about: the medium in which there is refraction taking place, we talk about the refractive index of that medium, and its symbol is written here below as a subscript, and the first medium where the incident ray is, that symbol is put here at the top with respect to, we say with respect to oil, that means oil has the incident ray. So, when we talk about the refractive index of one known medium with respect to another known medium, and this particular refractive index is also known as the relative refractive index, as we are comparing the passage of light, the motion, or we can say the flow of light, movement of light in one medium with respect to the another medium. So, this thing is known as relative refractive index. We can also say this is relative refractive index of oil with respect to water, and this is relative refractive index of water with respect to oil. I am comparing two media. So, from here I can define this term, I can define the term relative refractive index from here. Okay. So, one thing we have understood. Second thing is absolute refractive index. Absolute refractive index, how is it different is, normally if I write the refractive index like this, it simply means that the refraction is taking place in medium X and the incident ray is in medium Y. So, this is relative refractive index of medium X, which is put here, with respect to medium Y. Now, we know that when a light passes from one medium to another, its speed changes. So, this relative refractive index, for which we had this formula also, sin I upon sin R, we have another relation which basically compares relative refractive index with the speed of light. So, it can also be written as speed of light in medium Y divided by speed of light in medium X. Okay, once again you have to understand we are finding out the refractive index of x. So that is in the denominator. So y and x can be written as sin I by sin r if you are provided with angles, and if you are provided with velocities of light in these mediums, then you can find solve this using this relation also, and it can also be written like this in short, Vy upon Vx. So for relative refractive index I have obtained two relations, one with angle and one with velocities. Now if suppose we say that the first medium is vacuum, or in some cases air, here the first medium is y and second medium is x, but if we say that the first medium is air or vacuum, then we need not present it here. For instance, if I write it like this, simply nx, I don't write anything at the top. So it simply means that here the first medium is air or vacuum, so I need not present it in the symbol. So this is the refractive index of medium x with respect to air or vacuum, anything. Okay, again if I write ny, I don't write anything here. It simply means I am finding out the refractive index of this medium y with respect to air or vacuum. Okay, so when we compare the refractive index of a given medium with respect to air, then that quantity is known as the absolute refractive index. When we compare two media, it is relative refractive index. When we compare one media with air or vacuum, then it is known as absolute refractive index. So that is the only difference. So using this theory only, that refractive index is related like this: speed of light in medium y, the one where incident ray was there, divided by speed of light in medium x, the one where refraction is taking place. We can solve this also. So this will be, here the first medium is vacuum. So this also becomes speed of light in vacuum divided by speed of light in medium y. Remember, the medium for which we are finding out the refractive index is always placed in the denominator. Okay, the only difference is here the top speed we are taking, the numerator, in the numerator the speed is taken to be of light in vacuum. Okay, so this is known as absolute refractive index, and this one is known as relative refractive index. Fine. So now we can define absolute and relative refractive indices with respect to the speed of light. So how can we define these two? Let us talk about that. First we will define absolute refractive index, and then we will talk about the relative refractive index part. So absolute refractive index of a medium is defined as the ratio of speed of light in vacuum, or as I said in some cases air also, in vacuum to the speed of light in the given medium. In the given medium. Whatever medium are we talking about? So if I have written something like this, NA, so I am finding out the refractive index of A, and as there is nothing mentioned at the top, so basically we know that the incident ray is in vacuum. So this simply becomes speed of light in vacuum, and the symbol for speed of light in vacuum is C. You can mention C here in the definition. Speed of light in vacuum, the symbol is C. So in the numerator you get the speed of light in vacuum to the speed of light in the given medium. So given medium is A, so I have written VA, and you have to remember the value of C. It is a standard value, 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, VA. So in this relation you can see that NA and VA, we have two unknown variables. If either one of them is missing, you can find out using this relation. If NA is given, you can find out VA. If VA is given, you can find out NA with the help of this relation, because the value of C is fixed. So this is absolute refractive index. And now let's talk about relative refractive index. So relative refractive index of a medium. Now because we are comparing two known mediums, none of them is air or vacuum. So we say relative refractive index of a medium, let's say A only, medium A, with respect to medium B. When I say medium A, relative refractive index of medium A, so that means refraction is taking place in A. With respect to medium B, that means incidence is taking place in B. Is defined as the ratio of speed of light in medium B to the speed of light in medium A. So how can you represent it? NAB. Here you can see I have written A in the subscript just like in the previous case, but here at the top I have mentioned B also, with which we are comparing A. So this becomes VB divided by VA. Speed of light in medium B divided by speed of light in medium A. So speed of light in medium A was here also in denominator only, just that I have replaced C with VB. Okay. So in this case we can see there are three unknown variables. So out of these three, any two will be given to solve the numericals, and the third one has to be determined using this relation. So that is how you can understand relative and absolute refractive index. The last thing that we have to talk about here in this video will be the situation of reciprocity. So what basically it means that if suppose you are provided with, let us say I am changing the variables, I have L and P. So what does this mean? I am finding out the refractive index of medium L with respect to medium P. So this can be given as, let us say the value of this is some ratio A upon B. A upon B is some number, A upon B is some fraction. And if I have to find out this refractive index of P with respect to L, so I simply have to reciprocate the previous fraction, so I will get B by A. So refractive index of L with respect to P is A by B, and if I need to find out P with respect to L, I simply have to reciprocate the fraction. So this is one thing that is used in numericals. Another thing, generally we have found out that if I have to find out, once again let's take the same values L and P, refractive index of L with respect to P. So what all relations do we have now? One is this sin I by sin R, where we know angle I is in medium P and angle R is in medium L. We can also find this with the help of the velocity relation, Vp upon Vl, velocity of light in medium P divided by velocity of light in medium L. One more thing that you can do is, suppose I have been provided with NL. If I know what is the value of NL and NP separately, that means I know the absolute refractive index of medium L with respect to vacuum and absolute refractive index of medium P with respect to vacuum once again, and I need to compare these two. I need to find out NLP. That means the relative refractive indices. So what I can do is, the relation will be NL upon NP. So with the help of two absolute refractive indices, I can find out one relative refractive index. So this relation can also be written as this, NL upon NP. As we know that N is inversely proportional to velocity. The medium where refractive index is more, the velocity of light is less. So you can see that with velocity there is a reciprocation with N. Here I have Vp by VL, here I have NL by NP. So these are the all possible relations for refractive index. With the help of this you can find out. An absolute refractive index I have already told you. NL is basically C by VL and NP is C by Vp, where we talk about the ratios with respect to the speed of light in vacuum. So this is all about refractive index. In the next lecture, we will talk about the conditions for zero refraction, and then we will also solve a few numericals based on refractive index, absolute refractive index and relative refractive index. So that's all for now. Thank you.